You ever seen a kid and just thought, well, they're doomed? He was one of my students several years ago. His anger issues, anti-authoritarian spirit, and learning disabilities were well documented by the time he got to the grades that I taught. In all of my years of teaching, he was the only student who I thought may actually take a swing at me one day. I wasn't scared of him, I'm a big guy, but my coworkers, all females at the time, were. He was more verbally defiant to the female teachers. He seemed to have a real chip on his shoulder when any woman, including his own mother, told him to do anything. He'd also make a lot of really crass comments under his breath about his female classmates. He was a preteen version of the stereotypical macho/douche kind of guy, bullied the boys he thought he could push around, ignored the guys who were bigger than he was, and objectified all women. His only documented learning disability was trouble reading. He could do it, but it just took him a long time and he wouldn't put in the effort. And, because of his anti-authoritarian streak, he'd refuse to do almost any work, simply because someone in authority told him to do it. He averaged a 20% in my class all 3 years that I taught him. That's the baseline grade that students get just for showing up and occasionally being grouped with other students for group projects. By the time he was 13, our administrator gave his mother an ultimatum: take the child to a psychiatrist, or find another school. The psychiatrist put the student on medication. I'm not sure exactly which medication, but I know that it turned him from an overly defiant bully to a walking zombie. He was there physically, but not mentally. Sadly, the latter was the preferable option for him. But, near the end of each month, he was back to his old self again, except worse. According to his mother, he kept running out of his medicine, and the doctors wouldn't give him more than 1 month's supply. The suspicion amongst the teachers was that his mother was probably taking his substances, because she would sometimes show up to school clearly zoned out in a zombie-like state. When the mother wasn't like that, she was actually pretty pleasant to speak with and seemed genuinely concerned about her son. During my parent/teacher conferences with her, I learned that her current live-in boyfriend wasn't her son's father and didn't really care about her son. His real father was in prison. According to her, her son's attitude was just like his father's. I was able to do the math on my own and figure out that she must have had her son when she was just 15. He ended up getting a free needs-based ride to a Catholic high school, where he was promptly kicked out for substance possession. The last time I spoke to his mother, we run into each other sometimes in public. She told me that she's not sure if he's still enrolled in the public high school, but they, the school, have quit calling her to say when he's absent. That could be because they've just written him off as a dropout. He comes and goes from the house as he pleases, and hangs out with the wrong people, and she's afraid both for him and of him. I tried to help him as best as I could while I was his teacher. All of his teachers did. But he was, honestly, pretty doomed from the beginning. If I hear through the grapevine that he's been arrested or killed, I will think that it's sad, but not surprising. If, on the other hand, I hear that he was able to get his act together, get a regular, legal job, and live a life without run-ins with the law, I will be surprised.